Hi everyone, I'm Julia, Reference Librarian at McAllen Public Library. Today I'm going to show everyone how to do some of the most basic functions with Microsoft Word. I started out with some example text from our library website. We're going to start with the most basic and important functions up at the top. The most important functions all have to do with the font. The font is like the style of the text. So the font and the size are very important, and you control those up here at the top. Anything that you want to change, you have to have highlighted first. So let's say you want to change the font of this whole paragraph. You highlight the whole paragraph, and then up here where it says Calibri Body, that's the font. You click on the little arrow, and you'll see all of the font options. Times New Roman is a very traditional font, but there are hundreds of fonts here that you can choose from. I think it's kind of fun to choose the more creative ones, but it really depends on what you're typing. Like if you're typing a paper for school or a resume or something for work, you need one of the more serious fonts. Like you wouldn't want to use one of these for for something for work or school. So let's say this was a paper for school. You would probably want to use Times New Roman for that. So we'll choose Times New Roman. And now you see the font here has changed. The text looks a little bit different. And the size right now is 12 point. But let's say you think that's a little bit too small. You want it a little bit bigger so it's easier to read. You change the font size right here. You change it from 12 to, let's try 14. So now you can see it's a little bit bigger and a little bit easier to read. Another thing you might also want to do is change the spacing. Spacing is very important. Right now it's single spaced. That means there's not very much space between the lines. If you're writing or printing like a draft of something and you want to have room to make notes and edits, you might want to double space it for that and then put it back to single spaced later. So let's say you want it double spaced. You'll click over here where it says line and paragraph spacing. And all of the options are here. So we'll try double spaced, and now you can see it takes up a lot more space. This probably isn't how you would want the final version of it, but some people like double spacing when they're for editing drafts. But for right now, we'll put it back to single spacing. Another thing that's very important is the alignment. The alignment is like how the block of text is lining up on the right and the left edges. So you can see here the paragraph is all lined up in a straight line on the left, but over here on the right it's uneven. The best thing to do, especially if it's for something important like a school paper or a report for work, is to do full justification so that it's completely aligned, straight line on the right and the left. So all of the options for justification are here at the top. If you click on justify, the one over on the right, you can see it changes it so that you have a straight line on the right and the left. Another thing you might want to do is to make a title at the top that's center spaced. So we're going to put a title up here. For the title, let's just put McAllen Public Library, and you can see that it's over on the left, but to move it over to the middle, you just highlight it and then click on the center justification right here. And now let's say you want to change the color or a few more things about the font for the title. To change the color of any of the text, you just go over here to font color. And there are all kinds of colors you can choose from. These are the basic ones that kind of go with the theme, but if you click on more colors, you can choose basically any color in the rainbow. But For right now, we'll just go with one of the basic ones from the theme. We'll go with that blue color. And over here, there are some more options. You can have the text underlined. You can have it italicized. You can have it bold. And if you want to change anything, like let's say you don't want it bold after all, you just click on the little button again and it'll undo it. So if you click all those buttons again, it'll undo everything that you just did. Now you'll see up here at the top above the tools, there's a menu bar with different options. Each one of these tabs has more tools that you can use. All of the most important ones are here at the beginning under the Home tab. But if you go over here to Layout, there are a few other important ones that are might be important for a school paper, report for work, or resumes, anything like that. And the most important one over here under Layout is margins. Right now, this is the normal options. Margin means the space that the document has at the top and the bottom and the right and the left edges of the paper. So default is a 1-inch spacing, but you can also change it. Like if, let's say we'll do narrow, and then it'll just give it a 1/2-inch margin. And so now you can see the text goes a lot closer to the edge of the page. For most things, like for a school paper or anything like that, you should leave it on normal. But there might be some special occasions, like for a resume or something like that, where you might want to change it to narrow. And let's see. The orientation over here, this is another important one. Portrait orientation is how it is now, and it's how most things are printed. It just means that it's oriented vertically. But if you're making something else, something more creative, like a flyer or for an event or a poster or something like that, you might want to change it to landscape, and that means that it's oriented horizontally. But for most things, you'll want to keep it on portrait. Just a few of the most basic, simple tools and functions on Microsoft Word, but there's a lot more that you can do with it. And if you want to learn more, Microsoft has a lot of tutorials on their own support website. If you just Google Microsoft Office support, you'll see their support page. They have all kinds of videos and tutorials for all of the Microsoft Office products.
This was Julia, and thank you for watching. Be sure to follow MPL Adults on Facebook and McAllen Public Library on YouTube, and don't miss any of our virtual programs.